That's the book. It's written by Michel Dortmund. No, it's by Charles Hutchison and I believe Michel Dortmund. Two of them wrote the book, and you see the photographs here is an indication of who the people are. So let's go and check out who is this Owoo man. One, okay. Owoo brothers. Ni Owoo II, alias George Owoo, Esquire, born at Accra, 1961. Robert Owoo, Esquire, born at Accra, 1966. They were merchants. They were merchants of Funtumia elastica. Go and Google that. Michael Angelo just Googled it and he told me what it is. Google that, please. Young people, take your phone. Hurry up, Google it. What is Funtumia elastica? And if you get it right, hurry up, send a text. Now, social media editors, if as soon as somebody sends the meaning of Funtumia elastica, draw my attention to it, let's read it. Funtumia elastica, don't insult. That's you won't grow. It won't take you anywhere. You become poorer. Google Funtumia elastica, you get knowledge, okay? And then tomorrow you can become like the Owoo brothers. So who are they? Who are these Owoo brothers? That's a photograph of Ni Owoo II, alias G. Owoo. So who would be G. Owoo? I think it's George, yes. So this is George Owoo, and Robert Owoo's photographs comes up later. All of that is in the book I showed you. Who are they? Let's move on. Okay. The story begins with their fame. Do you understand that? Does that mean something to you? The story about the Owoos, documented from 1861, begins with the fame of the Owoos. The Owoos that we are talking about. And when we finish, I'll bring you the moral of the story and I'll play a song. And then you can understand the points we are making. The fame of the Owoos was won centuries ago. Can you imagine that? You are talking about 2022. The man was born in 61. The writer who is writing about them says their fame was won centuries ago in the archives of the country. That's the people we are. I don't know whether we are laughing at them, whether we are thinking that they are with the government, they are selling our life. I don't even understand that. As I keep saying, the important part of the story, which is the public interest, I agree with. Government is selling Achimota Forest. That's wrong. No government should do that. Once we've satisfied ourselves that the government has passed an EI to sustain and maintain the Achimota Forest, that story is dead. Now, who are the Owoos? That's the point of inquiry we made. And this is what we got. In the archives of the country, their fame was won. The signature of an Owoo close to that of Kentucky is a reference to your position. The ancestors of the Owoos were from Christianburg and were royals of that city. That kind of contradicts what the Osu Traditional Council were saying today. They said that the Owoos are not from Osu. Well, okay. The story here, which we believe, says that the ancestors of the Owoos were from Christian. Where is Christianburg? That's Osu, isn't it? Okay. We're from Christianburg and were royals of that city. The installing of Ni Owoo II confirms tradition. Ni Owoo I, as an interpreter of the Danes. Are you building up? This is not the British show. This is the Danes. The Danes came way before the British. In fact, the Danes came, the Dutch came, and then the British. So he was an interpreter for the Danes. Way back, what was your great-grandfather doing when the Danes were here? Was he an interpreter for them or he was marrying women? What was your grandfather doing? What was your grandmother doing? Owoo was interpreting for the Danes back in the day. The moral of the story, what are we doing today so that 101 years from now, somebody will say that that's the name I want to associate with? What are we doing? And we are sitting down laughing. We are just joking. We are playing. Because these days, we don't generate books like this. Because we just hate each other. We're just talking. We don't generate books like, we don't generate an honor list. We don't generate a genuine honor list of our country, that these are the people we want to be like. For every society, there are those that want to be like. There are those who will follow to become like that. So that by the next generation, we have produced more of the people in front. So the first 10 in front, the next 10 learn from them. By the next generation, the next 10's children have become like the first 10. So when you have 4 generations on, a lot more people have become like that. That's the story of the United States of America. You never go to any part of America and see something unnamed after an American great hero. Everything in America is named after somebody. If you try to name something here in Ghana, politics will come in. We do not even understand it. Some people come and then they write something about somebody who has done great things, and because they can write on social media, they just write, he's stupid. That's what they say. And when you continue doing that, you are derailing the society. But, people don't believe that. It will come upon us one of these days. So, let's get back to the Owoo. Okay. It says, he was an interpreter of the Danes. He did useful work, by saving his country from many disastrous decisions. Do you understand that? So the Danes were ruling some parts of the country. Owoo was their interpreter. The story says that he did a lot of useful work to save our country from some of the decisions that the Danes would have taken against us. Let's go on. What is there in a name? Some may ask. In our assigning to the brothers Owoo, Funtumia elastica. If anybody comes up with a name, please let me know. Have they? Okay, let's go to the social media. I'm interrupting myself now. What are they saying? Christabel?
This is actually my personal work. I don't know if
No, I don't want you. People texting.
Okay.
Is anybody texting?
Yes.
What are they saying?
So from Eric Azuma, the newborn, he says that Funtumia elastica is a medium-sized African rubber tree with glossy leaves, milky sap, and long woody seed pods. The bark is used in the traditional medicine of tropical Africa. It is economically important in West African countries such as Ghana, where it is commonly known as ofutum.
Who is writing?
It's from Eric Azuma.
Eric Azuma, great. Thank you very much. Matilda, do you have somebody else?
Well, we have a lot of people writing the same thing.
Yeah, it will be the same thing. I can understand. So just mention the list of those who did it.
Apia Andrews,
Okay.
Edu, Dixon, Amankwa, Kwejo Boama. We have Frederick Bediako, Aka, and Segre James, Adombre. We have a lot of
Michael,
people.
do you have some over there?
Yeah,
Give us some names. But no lady's name came up. I'm not happy about that.
We've got Stephen Pry, we've got Samuel Asamoah, we've got Imura Mohammed, we've got Enoch Robert Mohammed Ibrahim from Yendi. We've got so many people.
Okay, great. So the young people are taking my advice. They are Googling instead of saying something, the stomach journalist. Okay, let's get back to it. All right. So we got here. Funtumia elastica. Okay. The stretching indigenous matter, cohesive, hot or cold. It's not clear here because of the time it was written, but that's the document. There is a reason for the name. Though mind may be able to essay for our readers' full understanding, we crave their inferential view, for the epitome is metaphorical. That's kind of interesting poetry. Michael will like that. Let me take that again. It says there's a reason for the name. Though mind may be able to essay for our readers' full understanding, we crave their inferential view, for the epitome is metaphorical. Okay. Funtumia elastica, they have something with it. It's a tree, but it says, I cling, though I evaporate. If you touch me raw, I will cling and be resilient. If you hoard me in lumps, I will pine and evanescence. That's a difficult word to pronounce. Okay. For I was created to remain unused. Okay. It continues on Funtumia elastica. I am black and ungainly in lumps, but I was white in my infancy. In sap from my mother tree, I was equal to a mother's milk. Now, the Owoo family dealt in Funtumia elastica. It was a rubber plant production that was used for medicine way back. So you can understand the acquisition of Achimota. You can understand the large forest area. They were doing Funtumia elastica in 1890-something. 1890-something, they were doing Funtumia elastica. Let's move on and see who they are. When the Owoo saw the light, the satchels of the family were full and heavy with gold. In their play and roundabout, they had the leisure of Eastern princes. When the Owoos turned to business, they worked like Trojans. Nothing gave them more pleasure than dealing in rubber, the Funtumia elastica. That's the Owoo family. Those of us who are laughing about it, that's the Owoo family. One was born in 1961. This document is written a long time ago. This is the Owoo family. Are you getting it? You only get it here. This is the Owoo family. When the Owoo saw the light, the satchels of the family were full and heavy with gold. In their play and roundabouts, they had the leisure of the Eastern princes. When the Owoos turned to business, they worked like Trojans. Nothing gave them more pleasure than dealing in rubber, Funtumia elastica. Let's move on. They were pioneers of the rubber trade. They plied it for gain, yes, but the heroes of our story bore also some heavy losses, when profits were for the principals and losses for the agent. Owus, the Funtumia elastica, you can stretch them from Kwadoja to German woods. As from Akim, they mean Achim, to Debiso. I'm sure that there so is what they want to write. They were paramount in the trade when the Ashantis teamed at Cape Coast. So all the way from Accra to Cape Coast, the Owus were known to deal in what? Funtumia elastica. You know. That sounds like a nickname. So this is Robert Owoo, right here on the screen. This Robert Owoo. I first showed you George Owoo. This is Robert Owoo. The old photograph that's put there by the book writers. That's Robert Owoo, isn't it? Okay, let me go on. They stretch from Cape Coast market to the Lagos forest. Can you imagine that? Cape Coast, all the way across to Lagos, Nigeria. Cape Coast is on the western part of Ghana's border. Lagos is on the far eastern part of Ghana's border. The story says that they stretch from Cape Coast to market, to Lagos forest. That's where their trade was. That distance is bigger than Achimota Forest. And you are wondering why they own 500 hectares in Achimota Forest. These were men of vision. They understood what the times were. They knew where they were going. The Bible says the children of Issachar, they were ahead of their generation because what? They understood the times and the seasons. For us young people, this is a story. The moral of the story is, what are we learning from it? And we're on Facebook talking all sorts of things. Once we satisfied ourselves that the government is maintaining the Achimota Forest, the next question is, but who are these people? You have to find who they are and research into who they are. See whether we can buy something from what they did 100 years ago. How can a man buy a plant in Africa, in Ghana, 100 years ago? 100 years later, his descendants are benefiting from it. Why? Because he had the vision and the temerity and the hard work to put it in. And it counts. And everyone says, I'm old today, because the Bible says a good name is better than riches. Have you seen that? Yeah, it comes to riches. Then every good name comes to riches. Today, the Owus are rich. 300 hectares. That's why we all want to be old. Charlie, if I'm old today, I call the lands minister. I say, hey, Mr. Abujinapo, my name is Paul Owoo. Coming to see you. The land. He says, okay, come. Yes, Article 20. And I'll take you to Article 20 says that you people have to give us back the land. So this is the Achimota Forest. Where is the rest? Okay, I own 3 acres. How many are they giving it? 300. So I take 3. 3 acres is big, it's bigger than the size of where Metro TV is. So you take 3 acres and then it's a good name that has brought me riches, isn't it? So I called businessmen. I said, I want to sell the thing to you. Osei Kwame Despite, he'll buy it. You know him. He's very, very rich. So I called Despite and say, my old inheritance has given me some land in Achimota. Can you come and take it? He just might take it. So that's the important thing. That's the moral of the story. What are you doing? It's not criticizing and talking about people and laughing at something that's not even funny. You can't even see. A lot of us are not even seeing the moral of the story. And it's very sad, isn't it? Okay, let's move on. So they were from Cape Coast to Lagos and proved the elastica there. They declared his merit, and thousands followed at their wake. Thousands followed at their wake. You can stretch the Funtumia dead. You can press it to evaporation, but with the ghost of its elasticity, the Funtumia elastica rebounds. That's why it's rubber. That's why it's good for rubber. And you can imagine in those days, the world was about to develop what rubber meant. We know that rubber is what made King Leopold rich in Belgium over the Congolese plantations. King Leopold and the Belgian state, the money that the state called Belgium today has, Belgium and Brussels, which houses the European Union headquarters, it is about rubber, and it's about King Leopold, who never actually even stepped in the Congo, but he controlled the rubber plantations of the Congo. All the street lights in Europe were made out of King Leopold's rubber in Congo. Before King Leopold, the Owus had been doing Funtumia elastica in West Africa. Do you get that? Okay, let's move on. It says, such adaptability is the spirit of the Owus. Now, the writer is talking about the Funtumia elastica and its elasticity, and he says that's the spirit of the Owus. Okay, such adaptability is the spirit of the Owus, whose strength is in landed estates. This is written many, many years ago. The Owus already had strength in landed estates. That means immovable property. That means Achimota has 500 hectares. They were cultivating these things. Why don't we celebrate this family, and why don't you make a national monument of them? And we are criticizing them. Are we really serious people? Why are we criticizing them? The people that had the vision to succeed colonialism, succeed First Republic, Second Republic, Third Republic, Fourth Republic. They come to the second president of the Fourth Republic and says that the 1992 Constitution has given us something. It says where land has been taken, I'll show you Article 20 in a minute. Where land has been taken that has not been used, it should revert to the original owners, the pre-acquisition owners. That's the Owus. They have gone through all the republics until J. Ekufuor, who said, I think you guys have a case. I think you have a case. And blessings unto J. Ekufuor, not just because of the Owus, but it told us that we have a country that generates leaders who are thinking. and that generates leaders with empathy, and that generates leaders who are legally upright because they understand the position of the law. President Kufuor quickly got it and said, no, these Owoo guys, they deserve something. Have a look at it. Professor Mills looked at it. President Mahama looked at it. And in President Mahama's term, he said, now it's time to give them something. And then they gave it to them. Now they come back and say, well, President Mahama did something, but it's not all over. Because under the Constitution, we still have a claim. And I've seen scripts saying that they don't have any further claim apart from what has happened now. What are you talking about? If the land has been taken, it has not been used for the Achimota Forest and the Achimota School, and there's 1 million acres left, whether we like it or not, the 1992 Constitution says it belongs to the Owoos. They have the first right of refusal. They can take it as the first right. And that may not be the end of the Owoo story, but that is not the moral of the story. The moral of the story is, who are they and what did they do to get to this position? That's what we are bringing to you tonight. Okay. Such adaptability is the spirit of the Owoos, he said. Okay. A little pleasure. It looks like there were people who like to have fun. A little pleasure. A lot of business. This was the motto of the Owoos. They were Adankum feasts and merriments when the Owoo's hearts were glad. Okay, so they seem to like a bit of parties and stuff like that. I don't know how they used to do the parties in 1891 and 1903, but the document says that they like pleasure. But it says a little pleasure and a lot of business. So the pleasure is small champagne, small wine, small Hausa cocoa, and then they get back to business, isn't it? Okay, let's move on and learn more about them. Time was when the house in Salaga Market displayed the sign of plenty. And I'm not sure whether the Salaga Market is talking about the Gonja Salaga Market or a Salaga Market in Accra. My suspicion is that the Salaga Market in Accra because they lived in Accra. It says, time was when the house in Salaga Market displayed the sign of plenty, and women and men danced to the tunes of the praises of their bards. The Owus now prefer Christianity and education. A son has been trained as a barrister at law and is installed at the house in Salaga Market. I'd like to get that again. Let's get that into our coconuts. Time was when the house in Salaga Market displayed the sign of plenty, and women and men danced to the tunes of the praise of their bards. The Owus, that's what he wants to write, it writes the Owus, but the Owus now prefer Christianity and education. A son has been trained as a barrister at law and installed at the house in Salaga Market. Let's move on. Brothers George and Robert Owoo, may the prosperity that has attended you be with you till the end. In her gallery of celebrities, the country salutes you and tenders you her bouquet. That's the story of the Owus. That's the conclusion of the story of the Owus. The writer said, may the prosperity that has attended you be with you till the end. In the gallery of celebrities, the country salutes you and tenders you her bouquets. And instead of giving the bouquets to the two brothers 100 years after the fact, we are here whispering, gossiping, and making funny comments about them. The moral of the story is that let us all be an Owoo. Funtumia elastica, don't forget that. Funtumia elastica is a rubber plant, and it goes and comes. If you stretch it, it will bounce back. That's the story of the Owus. This is what the Owus have done. And before we go and look at the legal position, I like us to look at the Constitution, Article 20 again, and understand why the Vanderpoys may have a claim. Article 20 is going to come up on the screen right now, and then we deal with it before we go to the narrative. Okay, now this 25. Any property compulsorily taken possession of or acquired in the public interest or for a public purpose shall be used only in the public interest or for the public purpose for which it was acquired. Okay, that's Article 25. Let's see 26, which is interesting. Now, this is the critical one. Where the property is not used for the public interest or for the purpose for which it was acquired, the owner of the property, immediately before the compulsory acquisition, shall be given the first option for acquiring the property and shall, on such reacquisition, refund the whole or part of the compensation paid to him as provided by law or such other amount as is commensurate with the value of the property at the time of the reacquisition. So you understand it now. This is Article 20 of the Republican Constitution. Now it says that Where land is taken and compulsorily acquired that has not been used for the purpose, it shall revert to the original owners. Where they have taken compensation, they will pay back. We all know that the record is that in the 1927 acquisition of the Owoo family's property around Achimota, no compensation was paid, and the land has reverted to them. Now, if we put the map of Achimota Forest there, you will see that the thing was acquired. The 1921 acquisition has no conflict about it, and I think the minister told us in some detail on Tuesday. 1921 acquisition has no conflict about it. It was acquired for Achimota School, and then it was used for the purpose of Achimota School. Now, the 1927 acquisition was acquired for the forest to support the school, and then in 1930, the purpose of the acquisition was amended, and it was amended to say that it will be a forest area. So here is the map before me. So you can see Achimota School over here. You can see Achimota Forest over here. Okay, so all of this is what was acquired. You see Kiseman Village, Christian Village, Achimota, all of that going towards the Kumasi Road is all there. So what is an issue now that cannot be given back to the Owoo family is Achimota School, Achimota Forest, Gimpa. Those are all gone for compulsory acquisition, and they have survived Article 20 because they have been applied for the purpose for which they were acquired. All the others, which have not been used for the forest, because the document says forest. The document says you're going to use it for a forest. So all the others which have not been used for the forest, the Owoo family is entitled to it, even if it's 1 billion acres. That's the fact of the matter. They are entitled to it. And if they get it, they can share it with whosoever they will. That reminds me of the biblical scripture when the devil confronted Jesus Christ and said, listen, if you bow to me, I'll give you all this because it has been given unto me. And the devil told, the Lucifer told the Jesus that, and I give it to whosoever I will. That's what the devil was saying. He says, I have acquired the property from Adam. And if you bow to me, I can give it to you because it is mine, and I can give to whosoever I will. So let's come back. Let's use that same phrase. This is Achimota Forest. It's acquired. It's gone. Achimota School is gone. The Owoo family have the rest. It was acquired for forest purposes. If you have not used it for forest purposes, according to Article 26 of the Republican Constitution, it reverts back to the original owners, and they can give it to whosoever they will. So if you come and tell me that Collins Zada is staying there, or Mike Hammer is staying there, so what? So what should we do? So what's the point? Is that the moral of the story? That some minister is staying there? It is for Owoo family. It is for them. Article 26 gives it back to them. They can give it to whosoever they will. Do you understand that? That's what your law says. What you need to find. How did this Owoo man become so powerful that he can? That's what you need to find. How can I also become like that? How can we all become like that? So that in the greater Ghana story tomorrow, there are many Owoo families. That's the story. That's what we should be talking about. That's the point of the matter. Not giggling and writing and, chuckling here and there and making funny jokes. And yeah, we can make all the funny jokes because it's good to laugh. I like to laugh a lot. But behind the jokes, the real story is that what are we doing? You are 35, you are 41, you are 27, you are 28, you are 56. What are you doing? So that the property acquired in 1921, 100 years after the fact, George Owoo is long dead. Robert Owoo is long dead. The people who are their descendants have collected 300 acres 100 years after the fact. This is all theirs. They can give to they can give to John Mahama, they can give to Jenano Pokwa Jeman, they can give to me, they can give to Abambagbin, they can give it to whosoever they will for nothing. They collect it from government and dash it, they can dash it. So you can't do anything about it. So when people come and say, hey, go and look at that place, politicians staying there, so what? Have you read the law? Have you understood what is happening? So please, let's get serious. And we come where they cannot, it's government land. Why are you giving land to people? Is the land for you? Your grandfather, he was eating Abele Mamu and Abele Kaklo and he was just there. So don't let us not become, my grandfather too is the same. My grandfather, he was just there. He's just talking, he doesn't have, he didn't have much, Yeah. So I admire the old grandfather. I want to be a grandfather like that. That's the story. Let's have an aspirational society. Let's get on with it. The charismatic churches have been telling us this for a long time. Let's have an aspirational society. Let's bring him down. He's too rich. It's not taking us anywhere. You know what that will happen? The person you are talking about, he will continue to soar. Nothing is going to change. He's going to get better. And the inequality gap is going to widen. And when inequality gap widens, you know what happens? Nobody is going to share their money with us. The World Bank will come and do data, statistics. and say the inequality gap in Ghana is rising. Oh, that's it. It's not going to change your daily bread. If you can't afford Hausa cocoa, it's not going to make you afford it. Nothing is going to happen. If you have a great president, he's going to give you free education at secondary level. That's all he will do. If you are lucky and you have a greater president tomorrow, he's going to give you free university education. That's fantastic, because education is the difference. Education is a denominator. Any president that comes to Ghana and says, I want to give free education, is a great president, because that's what is the difference. That's the difference between left and right. It's education. That's what. There's nothing more. Whether it's rich and poor, it's education. So you see that the rich are educating their children. The difference between London and Ghana is that they have more better quality educated people than we have. End of story. We are actually richer than them. Ghana is richer than Britain. You know that already. But Britain has more money than Ghana. But Ghana is richer than Britain. That's why they call Africa the continent of paradox. So rich, yet so poor. You know why? So rich, but they are not educated. That's why we are poor. Before the colonial master came, we were poorer. Owoo chose Christianity and education. And as far as the 19th century, they were creating barristers at laws in their family. Van der Poys were creating engineers. It's education. That's what makes the difference. So any president that comes and says, free education is not possible, have another look at him. He's a dangerous president. Have another look at him. Kwame Nkrumah came and said, we're going to educate our people. And he rolled out schools all over. And Ghana became the #1 country in Africa because Kwame Nkrumah decided to create government trust schools. Accra Girls, Laboni, Doma Secondary, that he just rolled it out. And it was free. That's what Nkrumah did. Achampon came and said, let's have experimental schools. Let's deal with it. It's very important. Kufuor came and said, our health is very important. Let's do NHIS. Some people come and do nothing. Nothing. And then they are talking. So that's the difference. That's the moral of the story. Let's change our country. Let's be aspirational and understand where we are going. This Owoo story is giving us a reason to be aspirational. This Owoo story is giving us a reason to trust the history of our country, to make us feel proud that we are not that bad. Go back to 1897. We had Ghanaians who were thinking. We had Ghanaians who were controlling rubber from Cape Coast to Lagos. We had Ghanaians who were doing that. Gold Coasters, if you like. They were Gold Coasters. That's what they were doing. That's what we need to think about. We have to create an aspirational society and stop misbehaving on social media. Social media is given to us to aid, not to derail. We are using social media to derail. Look at social media of the Americans. Look at social media of the British young people. Come and check Ghana. Foolish boy, stupid boy, you're a fool. Oh, that's all they do. And then you know what we do? When people say that, you go and check their background. And you just cry for them. You wonder, look at this guy, look at his background. Why doesn't he want to be aspirational? Why is he doing what he's doing? That's what social media does. Nothing will change about the people you are insulting them. In fact, they will get better. The World Bank will make you a statistic of the inequality gap. That's what the World Bank is going to do. The IMF is going to make us, those of us who are derailing, is going to make us statistics of the inequality gap. Those of you youth who want to listen to this, fair enough. Those who don't want to listen, I shall pray for you so that you may repent. But I like the song because it has words in it that is great. It says, Ghana, my happy home, land of rich resources, land of mighty talents and racial tolerance. I will die for thee, Mother Ghana. I will strive for thee. That's my story. That's my song. That's the end of my sermon.